All right, so this is part two of the presentation about how AI can be used in DAOs. And in the last presentation parts, I stopped with the first slide about the introduction. And so now we'll continue with the second slides of the introduction, concretely focusing on what are DAOs and why does security matter in DAOs. Um, so coming back to the AI and machine learning part, it's important to understand what the relationship is between those two um, elements. So on the one hand side, we have machine learning, which we can consider as a subset of artificial intelligence. So there, machine learning is the approach, the practical approach to achieving artificial intelligence, with a focus on building systems that learn and adapt over time. On the other hand, AI includes both rule-based systems and also learning-based systems. And for the learning-based systems, of course, the machine learning is the important element that then AI is built on top of. So there's then consequently this dependency that artificial intelligence often relies on machine learning, say in robotics, also to achieve intelligent behavior. Yeah. Um, and specifically for tasks that need features like adaptability, pattern recognition, or prediction power. Yeah. So in a sense, a bit also anthropomorphic properties. So human-like properties in the sense humans are quite adaptable to fresh contexts. We are pattern recognition machines. You could say the human brain really operates on based on pattern recognition, and we are also quite good at predicting what will come based on past experience. Yeah. Um, so these machine learning and AI, they are then quite complementary. So in a sense, machine learning focuses on the learning from data sets, large data sets. And then on the other hand, artificial intelligence incorporates this type of learning into a much broader framework of reasoning, decision making, and interactions even. Yeah. So we want to use then an example of this integration. So for example, in DAOs, we can use machine learning, let's say, to optimize token economies. Yeah. So if you have a DAO system with a token economy that is involved to positively reinforce good, conduct of the stakeholders involved in patterns of behavior. So we can log these events and then use machine learning to learn out of patterns that evolve. Yeah. And then see if the token economy that is in place actually does reinforce positive and for everybody conducive type of behavior in the best case. Um, so in that sense, we can use machine learning to detect patterns of anomalies, yeah, that occur. And these anomalies we want to detect. Let's say you have a pattern that lasts for a certain period of time, yeah, that involves certain steps that have to happen, yeah. Then you could infer if you move into a pattern over a certain time, the probability that the entireness, that the entire pattern um, occurs becomes bigger and bigger, yeah. So if you, I don't know, you have 20 events that occur over a period of time in a pattern, if only the first three such events occur in the right sequence, yeah, that might not be yet too alarming, but let's say once you reach six, seven or so, you could assume, okay, now the probability and they occur in the right sequence over a period of time. You could infer this is now starting to be more critical, and you could raise the red flag. This is actually something I explained already in the first part of the presentation. On the other hand, AI algorithms in the context of DAO application could be considered to model stakeholder decision making and to be present for the governance dynamics. Yeah. So in other words, could be seen a bit of a maybe co-pilot, yeah, for all the stakeholders involved, whether they're human or non-human. Could also be AI agents themselves or software agents um, that let me click this way, okay, that act autonomously as well, yeah. So the AI could be some sort seen as some sort of as a co-pilot. So both together, machine learning and AI are then conducive for the DAO security. So why is DAO security so important? With a DAO, we have a very complex governance system, yeah. And whenever you have a complex system, that means you have a high degree of vulnerabilities that can be exploited, for example, in the voting mechanisms and decision-making processes. Yeah. There are also risks in the smart contracts based on which a DAO runs. So errors can occur in the contract codes that can lead to financial losses, very considerable ones. So, for example, there was the very famous the DAO crisis where the first um, what was it? The first crowdfunding DAO was developed in Ethereum, and the smart contracts were faulty, and somebody found an exploit, a security exploit, and reported this actually to the Ethereum community. They didn't do anything, and consequently, the person who was initially, you could say, a white hat hacker, yeah, who found the exploit, then turned black hat and just drew out 60 million dollars, and yeah, that led to the schism to Ethereum bailout, yeah, which is the current version of Ethereum that we have, and the so-called Ethereum Classic, where code is still law, yeah. There are also token economy vulnerabilities that could occur. Yeah, that a DAO gets drained of its tokens. So if there's susceptibility that manipulation is going on, or we have some exploitations of bad actors, this should be detected. Yeah. And there's also a lot of trust at stake. So security lapses that occur may erode the community confidence and limit DAO adoption. So the DAO example, which you can easily search online, which was a while back, was it, which year? Was it maybe 2016? 2016, I think. Time flies. So this is of course then very bad for trustability. Yeah. So then let's still do one more slide. Yeah. So to expand on the importance of security in DAOs. Yeah. Uh, Let me check that are now. Yes. So what are to expand a little bit more on the real world implications of security in DAOs? So there are the financial impacts, as DAOs nowadays certainly manage billions in tokenized assets. Yeah. And yeah, if we have security breaches, they result in dramatic losses. I was right. In 2016, here's actually the DAO hack listed. Yeah. So that led to a 60 million loss, and then culminated in the Ethereum hard fork. Yeah. Um, Trust and credibility, to expand there a little bit more. So DAOs operate on trustless principles. Yeah. Um, at the same time, the public confidence in a DAO system hinges really on robust security measures. So machine learning and AI lend themselves wonderfully for that to assure trust. And a single exploit can really deter the adoption and collapse and the entire governance mechanisms, yeah, that DAOs are set up for. So why would I want to still participate in a DAO if I know there are all sorts of shenanigans going on and nothing can be done about it? So the key security challenges faced by DAOs are, on the one hand side, governance vulnerabilities. Yeah. So we have exploits in voting systems that could be vote buying or Sybil attacks. Poor voter turnout is also possible. That leads then to governance centralization. Yeah, we don't want that. We want to stay decentralized at all times as much as possible. The smart contract risks I already mentioned that there could be code bugs and vulnerabilities that are not detected for a long time, and then somebody detects them and just exploits them. Yeah, leading to this scenario from 2016, 60 million lost. Yeah. And another risk of smart contracts is that they are not upgradable in um, that there's a lack of upgradability in immutable contracts. So of course, the context of a DAO changes, and we need to be uh, technically capable of upgrading the system. I mean, the DAO system with the changing context. Yeah. So that way we also avoid further risks that we can't respond to. We want to be upgradable. And then there's the token economy that can be exploited. So, for example, a manipulation could occur for the token supply or token distribution mechanisms, yeah, leading again to some sort of unwanted centralization or complete leaking out of tokens to parties who shouldn't have any. And there are all sorts of market manipulation options that could affect the utility and the governance integrity of a DAO. Yeah, market manipulation such as wash trading, for example, where you sell and buy tokens at high speed, let's say, to bump up the price artificially. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. So this was again part two of the presentation. Next week, we continue with part three, going back to the slides two of importance of security in DAOs. So this is where we will continue. Thank you so much for your attention.
Okay, thank you, Alex.